Well,
Is
32
this
just
up?
ruined his laps.
What up, guys? Let's go and get the drivers' meeting out of the way. Welcome to playoff race number 4 here for the Premier Truck Series at Iowa Speedway. Please remain off the track until after the drivers' meeting is completed. Tonight will be a total of 190 laps. We will have stage breaks at 25 and 70. That is 25 and 70. We have no fast repairs for this set of tires. A few things to note: the only black flags will be clear passing yellow due to wrecked cars and wrecking into the pits. We will not clear black flags for speeding through pits or unsafe entry or exit. During the restarts, to keep the pack tightened up, laying back to jump the start will result in a penalty. And when taking the green flag, you must maintain in your line until you cross that stripe. After the yellow flag's out, you safely made it through any wreckage. Please catch up with the pace car immediately to prevent delaying others. And when cycling through a green flag stops, state over the radio what your intentions are to allow others to move around you. Good luck tonight, guys. Have fun.
Welcome to DES iRacing. Tonight we have Iowa Legacy Track, 190 laps tonight. We have stage breaks at lap 20 and lap 70, 5 sets of tires, no fast repairs, and tonight we have 25 and 70. Tonight we have two special guests in the broadcast booth with us. We have Max Dinda, my son, and we also have Hunter Cox, two guys from the newly formed Rubbing Racing team joining us tonight. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good, Hunter. This is your first broadcast with us, I believe. We had a failed attempt here a little while back, but this is your first time joining us. And Max, I think this may be your second or third broadcast, other than in-race interviews. So again, we are in Iowa. This is the older track, so we don't have the new black strips of fresh blacktop on the track. Hopefully, these guys have a good night tonight, and let me know. You guys just raced the newer track. What are you guys thinking about these cooler temps tonight?
The few laps I did on this track here, it had way more grip. It would probably have even more grip with the new asphalt on it, but it has a lot of grip. We race during the daytime, so they're at night, so temperature's gonna be down, and it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
All right, we're getting ready to grid here. I think our fantastic producer, Damon, is going to bring up the lineup here shortly, and I think Max will take that away when we get it.
Okay, so we have Hunter Davis starting first, John Crosby starting second. Sean Dion with a great qualifying effort starting P3, Justin Curtis starting fourth. Charles Connor fifth, and Todd Perron starting sixth. Chuck Burley in P7 and Thomas Long in 8th. And rounding out the field tonight, we have Jonathan Geist in 9th.
Additionally, we have one driver who did not qualify. Surprising, Brandon Hinton, one of our top racers, chose not to qualify. He's going to start out in the back. I think he has a strategy there he may want to play. And I will be listed on there as well, but I am not racing. I just pulled that up so I can have an additional feed for my broadcast tonight. I know it's a little early, but Hunter, Max, if you guys have someone you want to call out to finish first, go for it. I'll give my prediction maybe after our stage break at 25.
Yeah, I gotta sit back. My bad, cutting you off, Max. But I gotta watch two drivers. Well, three for sure. You can never count out that 88 Hunter Davis. He's always quick, consistent. stays towards the front, knows how to save. You also got Crosby, who's a great saver. And then kind of all the way in the back, you got Hinton. He's always got a strategy in his mind. He always does really good. And he always manages to get to the front and be consistent. So those are the three that I got spotlighted tonight and see what can happen.
Yeah, for sure. In our Legacy Trucks race we had John Crosby, who won that one. He wasn't in the playoffs, but he showed up and won by like 20 seconds it was, so he's going to be a strong competitor. But you can never count out Hunter Davis. He is always fast everywhere we go, so be a lookout on those two.
And also, just to mention, we're trying to get the guys from the Discord channel to log in. I know most of them are probably watching the real life race, but we told them all to jump in, make a comment about their favorite driver here, make their comment about their favorite real life driver. Let us hear it. We're trying to get some comments in the channel tonight. And we already have a couple of comments. One asking Jess Reynolds, can I join your Discord? We posted that. We're getting ready here to quickly go green. www.raceds.com. You can find our Discord link there and get all the info you need to join our Discord.
Pace car hits pit road. Going green. Green flag. 88 leads the way into turn 1. Top two are already making a gap. See what third place can do. First lap completed without incident.
And I want to point out too, if you watch that 35 back there, he's kind of really good at saving, really good at finding his part of the track. So I kind of sit there and watch him as well. I mean, he's really good, really consistent, and he's always got a plan. So
Looks like Jonathan Geist got into the wall there. Actually, sorry, I'm watching the YouTube feed. Sorry, I'm back to my real feed.
In a battle for the lead, John Crosby. See what he can do with Hunter Davis.
yeah, it looks like Crosby's got that top kind of really good to where he can arc it down in the corner, but it looks like he just doesn't have the drive off. You can tell that back end of his truck's wanting to wiggle just a little bit whenever he tries to get back to the power.
Absolutely, those two are battling pretty early for the lead there, but with the rest of the field spreading out just a little bit. Going back to we're going to focus on our YouTube feed a little bit tonight. Mom Dinda actually chimed in and said, "Dinda boys, TRN Racing, Hunter on pole, shocker." I agree with you there, TRN Racing. Love me some TRN Racing. And of course, the grumpy old dude, as usual. Love his YouTube channel as well. For anyone watching, check that out. Who still uses www? Sorry, Grumpy. I do. I'm not quite as old as a grumpy old dude, but I'm pretty close.
Yeah, it looks like Crosby's trying really hard to get to the lead as well. I mean, coming out of 4, he got a little bit loose back there, and it seems like he's struggling on entry and just can't get the power down on exit. So he's holding in there, but I don't see him being able to get the power down for a couple more laps.
And quick walk to the field. Hunter Davis in position 1. John Crosby. Sean Dion is still holding into that third spot. That's where he graded Charles Connor. Looked like he has moved up a spot from the start of the race. Todd Perrant, Judson Curtis, Chuck Burley, Jonathan Geist, and Brandon Hinton, who chose not to qualify, is up into P10 right now, so he's moved up a spot. And Thomas Long rounds out our field.
Oh, it looks like Crosby got into the back of Davis there for a minute. Looks like Crosby's got a really good run now. It's just he has nowhere that he can get the power down to be able to complete it.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that. I've watched him a couple of times trying to get that, obviously we're not in car, but assuming it's full throttle on his back end, just getting a little loose on him. But he is riding right there on his bumper, just 2/10 back.
Yeah, and it's with how hard they're battling and everybody's falling so far back, it kind of sits to make you wonder, are they burning their material? Or is there a way that they're trying to figure out how to save, being able to run both together and just pull away?
Carlos
Yeah, that's a
Connor
good-
now up to P3. Sean Dion falling a little bit farther back.
That's a good point you make there. I mean, with 5 sets of tires, 198 laps, let's just say you average 38 laps per set of tires. Our first stage break is coming up at 25, so some of these guys may be pushing hard, knowing they're going to get tires at 25. Some of the other guys may be holding back a little bit. Max, Hunter, what do you guys think your strategy would be in this position?
Well, thinking about that, Brennan Hinton, he could have not qualified because he didn't want to take it for the tires, so he might stay out at the end of stage 1. That could be a thing why he didn't qualify.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would be a strategy I would play as a backpack feeder. Would be to kind of start off kind of slow, save your stuff here, maybe not pit at 25, and maybe try to make it a little longer.
Yeah, if I was in any type of position, I definitely would want to be where Hinton is, kind of riding the back for a while. You got 2 stage breaks. Just kind of be patient, see what the rest of the field's going to do. Save your material, see what you can get in the long run compared to these other guys that are battling. And maybe be able to save your material and get to the front when everybody falls off.
John Crosby now looking to the inside of Hunter Davis. Let's see if he can get there. Davis is going to sail it into turn 3. Going to slide up a little bit. Going to get that run off, and he's going to stay clear for the lead.
Yeah, it looked like Crosby had a little wiggle trying to come off of 4 at that bottom to get the run. It still sits there. He just doesn't have the ability to put the power down and be able to complete that pass without tires breaking free and him getting loose.
And we all don't have the cool feed that our producer Damon has, but just looking at lap times, last lap, Hunter ran a 23.9. I'm just going to pull into the back of the pack at, let's say, Brendan Hinton there. He ran also a 23.9. So, these guys are all spread out, but running fairly equal lap times. And,
yeah, but there's a difference between just riding in the back and getting the same amount of same lap times compared to the leaders. Because them leaders, they have no draft, and they're having to drive a little bit harder to keep that lap time compared to like Hinton in the back, to where he can draft with the rest of the guys and be able to save his material a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're still battling at the front here, and looks like John's gonna. Well, we'll see if he can clear him on this corner.
Even at the stripe. See, Hunter Davis is going to sail it on into turn 1. John Crosby is going to get that good run out, and he's going to clear him, I believe. Cleared into turn 3.
And Hunter just came on the track mic and said, "Good battle, John." So it's nice to hear the feed as well from the drivers.
Yeah, for sure. And now that Crosby's got the lead, how hard is he going to push it? Is he going to push it a little bit harder knowing the stage break's coming up? and potentially burn a set of tires, or is he going to kind of fade it back a little bit to see if he can save some stuff and maybe get a better strategy compared to the other guys?
And we have some more. Yep, stage break at 25. Just heard that from one of our drivers, and we're coming on that here pretty quick, and I think we're going to see some strategy play out. Just to comment real quick, we are encouraging comments in our YouTube feed tonight. Grumpy Old Dude said, let's get Mom's Dinda to the broadcast, and he said, let her in now. TRN Racing also commenting, John won the Legacy race here last week. So yeah, John definitely, he has some moves, and we're going to check out these strategies here in a couple of laps.
Coming to the white flag of stage 1. Gap between first and second, half a second now.
Yeah, and if you look back too, it looks like Hinton made another position. Like he's getting a little bit more antsy to get positions for points in the stages, or is he just be able to run that pace a little bit better than the guys? But it looks like our stage break's coming now, and Crosby's going to take stage 1.
Awesome, and for you guys who are more long-term drivers in this league than I am, I believe these stage points also count towards their points. Is that correct, guys?
Yeah,
so
they do count. That's why these guys are fighting so hard towards the end. They're trying to get as many points as they can to keep their playoff hopes and position stable.
yeah, absolutely, and you know, obviously with 10 drivers, everyone's going to get a point. But you know, John Hunter, Charles Todd, I mean, they're collecting a little more points than Brandon. But let's see if Brandon's playing a little different strategy. Going to watch this live here for a second and see what Brandon does. Yeah, let's catch one of our fabulous commercial breaks, and we'll catch you guys all on the flip side.
Recent studies have revealed that microplastics are being found in human testicles, raising concerns.
You can never
about their
trust these
potential impact
studies.
on male reproductive health.
Who's hungry?
That's it. Keep going.
Well, you're so lucky he's naturally buoyant and you don't have to watch him. Is it Bob?
No, he doesn't need sunscreen or anything. He just gets softer as he warms up.
Bob, you're leaking.
Bob can't play. If he gets hit, he'll dent.
Don't let plastic end up in landfills. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
What the hell was that?
That's the new commercial for plastic. We think if we humanize plastic, people won't think it's so bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I just felt bad for it.
Marketing approved that?
No, we fired marketing.
I feel like it's missing action.
Yeah, maybe there could be like a chase or a shootout.
Explosions. Explosions.
Maybe the Matrix thing.
Maybe his plastic gets stronger as he gets older.
Maybe he gets revenge, you know, to the people that were mean to him.
He's got a gun!
Who?
Bob from marketing!
Cover me, I'll get to the side.
I can't believe this is happening.
Here they come.
Get down, get down!
It's Bob from marketing.
Get down! Watch out!
Oh, hell yeah. Now that's what I'm talking about. So that whole first half was like an origin story, right?
Should we greenlight it?
Yes, but not for TV. Put it on social media.
Where it can go viral.
All right, let's get back to work.
Recent studies have revealed that microplastics are being found in human testicles, raising concerns
You can never
about their
trust these
potential impact
studies.
on male reproductive health.
Welcome back. This is Mom Dinda. I hope you're enjoying the race and enjoying Max and Jeff. And I'm out. Enjoy it.
All right, we're back to green, and it looks like Crosby got a massive jump on Davis, and seems like he's kind of pulling the gap a little bit, maybe to burn his stuff a little bit early, but maybe to be able to kind of back it up to slow down and save his stuff a little bit more.
Yeah, sorry, we were switching headsets. We had our first premiere mom-wife broadcaster in the booth for a total of 3.5 seconds. I believe Hunter, Brandon did come in and pit there, right?
Yes, he did. He came in and pit, and it looks like he's still trying to pull that strategy and rod in the back and just save his material and see what he can do towards the end.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going from 25 to 70, so, after stage 2, tire saving strategy, fuel strategy. I didn't check my fuel gauge with these guys before, but I mean, you guys just ran that race. I'm sure we could make quite a few laps with fuel, but tires are probably more important. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, tires is going to play a major factor on your long run. And about fuel, I believe whenever we ran, we got anywhere between like 60 and 70 laps of fuel. So fuel's not going to really be a problem. It's going to be more how much can you save your tires in the beginning to be able to drive a little bit harder in the end to make up those positions.
And Max, I know you're probably your nose is probably in the four-wheel race with NASCAR, but I know you're also watching this race. What are your thoughts so far on? We have a pretty good battle up front. I mean, these guys are running pretty tight intervals. What would your strategy be right now at this point? And sorry, Max may be away from computer at this moment. But Hunter, we'll come back to you. Where would you rather be? Would you rather be up front with John and Hunter and Jonathan Geis and Judson and those guys, or would you rather be in, say Brandon or Chuck's position, kind of in the back?
Yeah, right now with how early it is in stage 2, I'd rather be in the back where Charles Connor and Chuck Burley and Brandon Hitton are, because they're not, like I said earlier, they're not burning their material as bad as them leaders. They got the draft. They can kind of feather and float the corners a little bit more and hold the material compared to these guys up front driving so hard just to try and pull away.
Yeah, and while we were doing the headset switch there for Mom's Dinda to come in, I'm noticing now Sean Dion is down 4 laps and Todd Perrant's down 9. Did we have an incident? I mean, are those guys getting repairs? Has anyone caught wind of that on the track mic?
I know right before we went to a commercial break, when they was pulling the pits coming in after stage 1, it looked like Todd Perrant had hit the wall or something and had messed up the passenger side of his truck pretty rough. So I know that's why he was in there, but I never saw what happened to Sean Dion.
Yeah, we're going to catch a replay here real quick. Lap 25, so right as the caution was coming out. Yeah, definitely Sean picked up quite a bit of damage. Not sure about Todd, but
that is Todd that's spinning right there.
Oh, that's Todd. Sorry, I got the cars
Yep.
flipped. So Todd probably may have blown an engine there. Sean's also. I'm just trying to scroll through their cars on the feed. He's parked right now down on the apron, so maybe that could have ended the night for both of them.
Yeah, now it's as he's parked down there like he stepped away or something, but it looks like Crosby's driving a little bit hard. He's kind of tail tapping the wall, and you can see the sparks. He's pulling pretty close to that wall and bumping it quite a bit now.
Yeah, he's actually got a 2-second gap on Hunter Davis. So he maybe he's going to play a little different tire strategy. It's hard to say. You know, maybe he wants to really break out and get that lead. Maybe he's planning on short pitting here. We'll find out. And we're doing a little in-car right now. I love these feeds. It's so fun to watch these guys in their car and, you know, watch their wheel. You can see their center point stripe there on their wheel. You know, giving the idea just how much they're working this machine around this track.
Yeah, and you can see just how much Crosby's sitting there, and you can definitely tell he's sliding, trying to keep it out the wall, but he's also trying to push a little bit at the same time. You know, driving in a little bit harder than you normally would whenever you're sitting there trying to pull a save strategy.
So we currently have 8 cars running, which Sean and Todd, as we mentioned, looks like they're both probably out of the race. Charles Connor's pulling up P8. Brandon Hinton's just in front of him in P7. Chuck Burley, P6. Thomas Long, P5. Jonathan Geis, P4. Justin Curtis, P3. Hunter's in position 2, and as we mentioned, John is out front. You know, he's now got a 2.6 second lead or so on the guys, so he's definitely pushing his car.
Yeah, it definitely goes to sit there and wonder, is he pushing it and going to come in on this second stage and get more tires as well, or is he just driving this hard just to see exactly how far he can go towards the end of the race?
Yeah, and as you mentioned that, I mean, our second stage is at 70, I believe. So from there to the end of the race is 120 laps. The guys obviously started with a set. Most of them got a second set, so they should have 3 sets remaining. Assuming most of them pit on our second stage break, you know, it's going to leave you about 60 laps on your last 2 sets of tires. What do you think about that, Hunter?
I mean, looking at Crosby whenever we raced with him last week in Legacy Premier, he was able to run a really long stretch on them tires and not burn them off as bad, but also that was in a daytime race, so this is night, so different strategies and different burn offs, so you never really know what he's thinking and how hard he's going to drive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't do you any good to have a 10-second lead just stage break if everyone comes in. But you know, he started in P2. He's running up front, and he's definitely increasing his lead on second place. Our current look right now is on 3, 4, 5. Mostly we have Judson and Jonathan on our feed there, getting a look through the field. And again, it's going to be really interesting. Someone's going to play a different strategy than everybody else, and let's find out if it plays off tonight.
Yeah, because, I mean, you got guys in the back that are really off the pace. You know, like Brandon Hinton, he's not driving it really hard and sitting in the back just riding. So it kind of makes you sit there and wonder, is he going to try and pull a strategy, or is he going to come in with everybody else to get those fresh tires?
Yeah, and I'm just looking at his last couple laps, 24 3s, 2s, 4s. You know, then I'm gonna pull up the front and see what he's running. You know, he's actually, you know, he's running a couple of tenths faster. And I just got to notice I gotta plug in my headset here before I bonk out on you guys. Maybe that's what happened to Max. Lap 51 of 190. Again, our stage break is coming up at lap 70 for all of those of you tuned in to our feed. We appreciate it. We have some more comments. I made a comment to Grumpy. We need an all-woman broadcast night. I am not the originator of that thought. That came from our TRN Racing friend Edwin in a broadcast, and Grumpy agreed. He said that would make an exciting night, and I agree. And we have another comment from Jess Reynolds, says yes. So I think it'd be great, one of our exhibition races, if we had all the wives girlfriends, moms, daughters, whatever you may do a broadcast for us. I think it'd be fun.
Oh yeah, I think it would definitely be an interesting, all of us guys that, sit out here and we drive and we learn the track and we want to put a show on for everybody and just letting our women come and talk and tell them what they think about us and everything. I think that would be a really good, interesting broadcast.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure we'd have some gripes, about all the time we all spend on the Discord and doing the races. But someone asked me once, about Max Racing. I said, you know what? It's much better to have your son or daughter racing on a Friday, Saturday night with this group of drivers than it is to be out hanging out with their friends and not knowing where they are. So, and I'm sure some of the wives may say that about their husbands.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, my kids, they enjoy sitting here watching me race, and they enjoy spending time with their dad and watching me run with a whole bunch of, a group of guys that are really good at racing and love putting on a show and just having our families entertained. It really makes everything fun.
Yeah, and as we're coming up on lap 57 here, John's still increasing that gap on second place Hunter Davis. Noticing some of the guys in the back, Chuck, Brandon, Charles, they're hanging on to the lead lap, and Charles is probably going to do his best to either stay on the lead lap or be the first car one lap down, whatever his strategy may be. Like I said, we'll find out later in the race. But we got a little tail show right now of the nap time commercial sponsor. I love some nap time, $1.99. I wish I could click on that link and actually buy it, but that's one of our great commercials we have here on our YouTube channel. And I'm not sure where Max has disappeared to, but fortunately for him, we could not purchase that as a child for him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have a 7-year-old, and sometimes I kind of wonder, sit back looking at that, is there any way that I can one day purchase it so that way I could make her take a nap instead of being so energetic?
And I hope we have that commercial come up at some point in our broadcast. It's a classic. We have some really funny. Some people have commented in the past. These are old commercials. There's some rights and restrictions on YouTube on what you can and can't show, and some of these are hilarious, and I'm glad we could show them.
So it looks like we're coming to lap 61, and I mean, Crosby has just absolutely pulled away. I'm wondering, is Davis just backing off the pace to save, or is he just not able to keep up? Can he not keep the power down to be able to drive and hook up like Crosby can up there in the front?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that gap's up to almost 4.5 seconds to position 2 in Hunter's car. I mean, I'm assuming all of these. Obviously, John's running a little harder than the rest of them, so I'm assuming he's going to get tires. I would assume most of these guys in the front are going to get tires, but we'll find out. If there's any special strategy, and I'm looking now. Sean Dion is actually back in the race. I know he was kind of parked on the apron there for a little while. He is 9 laps down, but as I say that, he blinks just for a moment. But he unless I'm wrong, Hunter, you can correct me. He's going to collect some of these lap backs. Right? If we have a caution stage break, he's going to be 8 laps down. Right? He'll get that lap back with no one else being a lap down.
Yeah, so he's the only car on the track that's a lap down, with Top Perron still sitting in the pits, being down after that incident whenever we came to the first stage. So, I mean, he's just sitting there, looks like he may ride around, just see what he can gather, and maybe be able to get back on the lead lap and be able to run and finish where he qualified at. Yeah,
and I'm watching his car. He is having a little bit of connectivity issues. He's blinking a little bit, so maybe that factored in with their incident. Hard to say. We had a replay of it, but I didn't notice him blinking before. But, like you said, maybe he's just going to ride around, collect some laps. If someone else wrecks in the meantime, I mean, he's only 9 laps down, so there's plenty of laps for him to gain a couple positions if something unfortunate would happen to somebody else.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks right now he's kind of just backing up his pace. He's just trying to stay consistent to be there whenever the cautions come out. And he's also trying to find a groove that he feels comfortable in to where he has more grip later on in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not too far behind the guys in front of him there, so he's, kind of maintaining a little bit of a distance, but keeping pace with them. And as we're coming up on, I believe, 3 to go to our stage break. Right now we're viewing 67 car. So these are the guys just in.
Yeah, so it looks like Crosby's getting ready to lap the 67 and Charles Connor. That would put him a lap down and put him in pace for the lucky dog. I mean, sitting here looking, is Crosby just going to ride behind Connor, or is he going to try and pass him and put him a lap down? It just makes you wonder what's he want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have 3 different screens I'm watching broadcasts. Maybe I need a little nap time myself. So I got a little messed up on the cars there, but like you said, he's close to passing them, but I got to think Charles maybe he's going to give it all he can to stay on the lead lap here, but either way, he's going to get the lap back for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You can see the 67's trying to find his line, and it seems like he's able to hold the 73 off right now. So coming to the stage, it looks like he's going to be able to hold and not go a lap down.
Yeah, caution is out for our stage break. We're going to go to a commercial, and those of us in the broadcast are going to take a pause while you guys watch this great commercial.
Mom, can I have a popsicle?
No, honey, you'll spoil your...
Hey parents, tired of those out-of-control kids? Throwing embarrassing tantrums wherever they go. At the grocery store, on the playground, even at the dinner table. You've had it with parenting, but wait, there is a solution. Introducing Nap Time, the latest, most effective tool for child tantrum prevention. It's simple. Just douse a rag with our patented Sleepy Time formula, place it over your child's cry hole, press and hold gently for 8 to 12 seconds, and presto, no more tantrum.
I was beginning to think adoption was the only way out. Then a friend of mine introduced me to Nap Time. It's never been so quiet around here.
The secret lies in Naptime's revolutionary fast-to-sleep formula. Developed by military-trained scientist doctors from NASA, Naptime's powerful molecules rush to the child's brain on contact, gently inducing instant tranquility.
This is chloroform.
Already put those wallet-draining crap factories out on the street? That's okay! Naptime works in any situation. On the golf course. An awkward blind date.
I had a really good time tonight.
It even works on pets.
After we had our first child here, we regretted it almost immediately.
We didn't know that she'd cry so much.
Talk about defective. But thanks to Nap Time, our little Samantha here hasn't made a noise in weeks. I keep her in a shoebox.
Call now and we'll send you your very own 24-ounce bottle of Naptime solution for only 23 easy payments of $1.99. But wait, there's more! Act quickly and you'll also receive the all-new Dream Sack absolutely free. It's compact and portable for those on-the-go tantrums. Just cover it, tighten it, and forget about it. It's that simple.
We can't breathe good.
So if this looks familiar...
I feel pregnant.
Then don't wait! Order today and join the millions of Americans who just can't stop saying...
Thanks, Nap Time.
Thanks, Nap Time.
Thanks, Nap Time.
Nap Time! When they just won't shut up. Nap Time is not legal in the following states.
We are back live at Iowa, our DS Premier League, 4 of 5 of our playoff races. That was stage break 2. Hunter, did you watch the pits? What do you think? Did we see anything unusual happen? I know Sean Dion got a lap back.
No, I didn't see anything, unusual. Like you said, Sean Dion, he stayed out to get a lap back and get the wave around, and then he went into the pit. So it looks like he's gonna fade a little bit further, maybe get back out before they go green, but there's no telling.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, I see him coming down pit road. Crosby is going to lead our cars here. We are exiting turn 2 on the back stretch. They are double file. Currently lap 74 will be lap 75 when we get back to green here. John Crosby, Hunter Davis, Jonathan Geist, Judson Curtis, Thomas Long, Chuck Burley, Brandon Hinton, Charles Connor, Sean Dion round out our current cars in the field. Todd Prawn is out 47 laps down, so he will finish in P10.
Yeah, and it's such an fortunate night for him because, he had a strong truck driving whenever he did. So it's just unfortunate for him to be able to be knocked out so early.
Yeah, and pretty impressive jump there by John Crosby. I think our TRN racing teammate commented earlier that John won. Was it the race earlier? Or was it the race last week on this track?
It was a race last week in the Legacy trucks and the playoff race he ran here. Oh, and we got a loose one. It looks like the 23 went around and gathered another truck with him.
Yeah, good catch there. I know we're going to get a replay here pretty quick. See if we can see exactly what happened.
It looked like he had a really good run and the Ford drove underneath him. And he may just got loose and the Ford just locked him up and spun it to keep from hitting him.
Yeah, it was kind of a simultaneous spin there. If this was ice dancing, there would be some term for that, but I'm not sure what you would call it. But boy, yeah, like our producer said that you guys can't hear, they both kind of in 67 and Brandon Hinton also squirted by him and didn't make contact. So didn't look like those guys got into anything other than the grass there. So hopefully for both of them, this is just a kind of, clean up your tires, see what you have, and not necessarily need a new set. What do you think, Hunter? Do they need new tires, or might have just bumped the wall a little bit?
Yeah, it looked like the 23 bumped it, but I don't see them need new tires right now. Maybe get back to green, run a lap or two, knock all those marbles and dirt off their tires, and I think they should be fine. Only thing to concern is that 23 when he bumped the wall. Did it give him any aero damage on that rear?
Yeah, for sure. And it could be one of those incidents that maybe it pushed it up a little bit and gives them a little more downforce.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe whenever, like you said, whenever he hit that spoiler went up just a little bit in that corner, and maybe it'll keep him from looping it around again in that corner whenever he tries to get back to that throttle.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, the cars that were just behind him missed any contact incident with both of them spinning at the same time. It sometimes happens. You watch real NASCAR races, you watch our feed, and it seems whatever happened there, caught both of them at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. It looked like Chuck Burley was just basically an innocent bystander, and he decided it was better to spin himself and not hit anything than try and drive through whenever the truck in front of him spun.
Yeah, so now the good news for everybody is this buys them a couple of extra laps on their tires. We're going to stretch this stage out. Our producer probably has for sure, but I'm guessing most of the guys have two sets of tires, or is it one set of tires? Stage 1, stage 2, so they probably they got another two sets here, I believe.
Yeah, I believe they have 2 sets left because they only came in and got tires twice. The only one that may not have that many sets may be the 3, with whenever he ended up stopping. Did he maybe go in the pits, or what happened with him?
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the 3 car, he picked another lap back up there with that quick caution. So good for him. I mean, he's in a struggle to get back on the lead lap, but again, nothing wrong with staying out there. If someone else has an incident, we have no fast repairs, so you never know exactly where you'll finish at this point, even though you're 7 laps down.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at the 5. He was all the way in the back. I mean, at one point, he was 14, 15 seconds behind the leader. And with all these cautions and everybody in front of him, he's made his way up to 6th place. So is he getting a little more aggressive, or is he trying to wait till he gets that last set of tires to pull the aggression and make it back to the front?
Yeah, absolutely. And the pace car is off, and John Crosby's going to bring us to the Geico restart and gets another great jump there. He's definitely pushing it. He is not holding back in that position 1, and I don't blame him. There's something to be said for getting out front and getting that clean air and just having a little safety around you.
Yeah, and close to the back, it looks like Brandon Hinton. He is slightly picking up the aggression just a little bit because he's coming out of 4 side by side with the 67 to Charles Connor.
We just had one get a little loose. I'm not sure if that was, well, I missed it there, but it was right in front of, I was pulling up Brandon's feed, and it was right near him there. We had somebody get a little loose and get down on the apron, but back up the speed, so no flag, no issues.
Yeah, it looked like Jonathan Geis just got a little bit loose, and he put it down on the apron to save it, to keep from gathering anybody else up around him.
Yeah, good call there. John's already got 0.6 of a lead here. I love some of the strategy some of our drivers play, and these premier drivers are the best in the league. But just to watch these guys battle it out, it's a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, for sure. And I've raced against quite a few of these guys as well, and it's an absolute blast to run around them and learn some of their lines and improve just by watching what they do. So the fact that these guys are out here, all really good drivers running together, on a track like this, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I checked on Max during our last break. I think he was so thrilled to watch the end of the real life NASCAR race that he has that short attention span. He switched. So I'm glad you're in here with me, Hunter. And my first broadcast was a couple weeks ago, so hopefully you join us again in the booth.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, when I'm not racing, or I'm back down again because we kind of canceled. I was supposed to be on a few weeks back whenever I broke my hand, but doctor said I was clear and I was able to get back and hold a wheel again, so I skipped a broadcast. But yeah, for sure, when I'm not racing, I'd gladly come back and join.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and for me personally, when Max first joined the league, most of our races were broadcast, and it was always fun, whether you watched the entire race or just caught the end, to have some broadcasters comment, to see what's going on. And I'm kind of watching a little bit back in the pack, P5, 6, 7, car 67, car 432, including Thomas Long in the 23. I mean, they're all pretty close to each other.
At the wall.
Yeah, and these
Thomas Long popped the wall.
And these guys, that's an indication they're racing hard, right? They're not necessarily trying to save their tires. I mean, they're giving it all to gain a position.
Yeah, it looks like Thomas Long, he is pushing a little bit harder, and his truck's just breaking free a little bit because he was in the back of that group before and trying to get positions back and gain what he lost, and he just got a little bit loose, got a little bit too eager and got loose.
Yeah, and Brandon, we mentioned the number 5 cars in P4. He did not qualify. I mean, we were talking, somebody was spinning there in the grass. Let's see who that is. 8th position. It might have been Thomas Long again. Yeah, 23 car. Got a little loose, saved it. He's definitely having some issues with that car. I wasn't sure if that was a corner exit or entry. But he is back up to speed, and for him, he's only less than 7 seconds off the lead. Maybe well, actually now it's increased to almost 11 seconds, but back up the speed there. But what do you think? You guys raced this race here just a couple hours ago, Hunter. Different configuration with the newer blacktop, but he's getting close to the wall again. But what do you think about a long run here? Cooler temps, obviously, but what do you think you'd be feeling at this point?
Oh yeah, around this time, trying to drive, whether you're trying to save or not, you're gonna start feeling it getting loose. You're gonna want to try to go back and stab the throttle like you were earlier in the run, and it's not gonna want to do it, and it's either gonna push up the track or it's gonna try and spin you. So it's definitely a tough track, but I mean sometimes you got the best of the best that can sit there and master it and show everybody else what it needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And John Crosby still the lead. Hunter's, a little less than a second off the leader. I saw we just had a position change. I'm not sure if that was the 4 and the 32. Heard them coming on the track mic there. I saw somebody make a pass on our side feed there. They're kind of battling it back in the 4 and the 23. Here we have a little replay. Yeah, he got just a little loose in front of him, and
yeah, it
good
looked like
move
the
there.
four had
Yeah.
it looked like the four had a little bit better of a run, and 67 kind of stutter coming off, maybe kind of spinning them tires a little bit, and it checked up the four, but looks
Yeah.
like he was able to make the pass.
Yeah, and the our producer knows probably the secret formula for the entry into the Premier League, but one of the criteria I'm sure is just being a safe, smart driver, and they showed pretty good restraint there, not getting into each other.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I mean, when that happens and you have such a run, your instinct is always going to be to want to try and drive. But if you got a truck in front of you, it's a smart thing to back out. But sometimes you want to stab the throttle, but you just can't.
Yeah, and as we mentioned in the beginning of the broadcast, we're almost 90 laps to go. Obviously, John's running out front. Hunter's in P2. Do you have a favorite at this point, Hunter? To if we're going to bring out the crystal ball to see who we think may win.
I mean, it's a hand toss right now because I mean, yeah, the 73's got that really good long run truck, but I mean, for a good little set of laps, the 88 was able to keep up with him. When the 5, he kind of sat behind Justin Curtis too. So I know he's really quick at tracks like this, and he always shows up whenever you least expect it. So it's really hard at this point to pick a favorite.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, we're crystal balling it, right? We're gonna roll the magic 8 ball. I mean, I've never gone wrong in a race where I've called out Brandon Hinton in P4, the 5 car, to finish in the top. Whatever you want to call it, 1, 2, 3. Obviously, he's in 4, so that's it's cheating. But these guys are pretty smart. All of these racers are smart, and I know. A couple laps ago, Charles Connor was kind of in a dust-up, and I heard him come on the track mic say there should have been a caution there, and I noticed now he's 5 laps down, and I don't see him on the race here, so I could probably do a little replay and see what happened, but not sure exactly what happened to Charles, but I heard him say there should have been a caution there. I'm Yeah, we just I rewound on my own feed here. Looks like Charles Connor had a little bump with another car, hit the wall, lost his fender, pulled into the pits. So he is currently 9 laps down. Not sure. It looks like he's probably getting repairs. You know, we mentioned earlier. Now he just looks like he exited, so maybe it was not repairable. But you know, we mentioned earlier the 3-car Sean Dion. No reason not to stay out, and if you're capable of, you know, keeping your tires on and keeping on getting some laps back. You never know how many positions you can gain. Unfortunately, you know, Charles received the bad end of that, but you know, Sean's going to gain another position there.
Yeah, for sure. It, like you said, it's an unfortunate night for Charles Connor and Top Rom. You know, this track is tough to fight. Longer in the runs, you know, it starts getting really loose, and there's no telling exactly what your truck's going to do, because going into the corner, you could be really, really tight, and then whenever you exit, it could be snapping loose or vice versa. So it's really hard to predict what these trucks are going to do and what surprise you're going to get.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we were chatting away about the other drivers, and I really have my track mic down low so it doesn't interfere with our broadcast. And I heard him say there should have been a caution there, and I noticed, you know, hit the wall, lost his fender, probably had some tire damage on the front right. You know, again, unfortunate incident there on the track that we did not catch a replay of.
Yeah,
and yeah. And as we're talking about that, you know, Brandon Hinton's still sitting there live on our feed in P4, you know, kind of on the tail of Judson Curtis. He's running that low line, and, you know, there's a couple of drivers that are really, we have a replay here. This may be that earlier incident that we mentioned. Let's just see what happens here. Looks like the Ford made a really good move on the inside. Oh, yep. Yeah, can you see that, Hunter, on the feed?
Yeah, it looks like he had that high line, and the Ford just didn't realize that he was still up there, and he thought he was clear, and it looks like he just kind of hooked him just a little bit and upsetted the truck and put it in the wall.
Yeah, and this is, you know, I've made these comments before in our broadcast. If you're just running the spotter from iRacing, right? And let's say I'm on the inside line, and you know, I'm kind of hugging the inside line, and you're on the outside line, and you're coming at me with speed, right? And so you're probably going to get up beside me on the outside, but I'm running that inside line, and I'm going to kind of all that inside line high on the exit of the turn. The spotter doesn't tell you, hey, the guy on the outside is gaining momentum. He's coming up on you, right? They don't tell you until they're actually on your outside, and by that point, it's too late a lot of times. So, as good as iRacing is, the spotters, they're not real spotters, right? They're not telling you, hey, the guy's going to be on your outside, don't go high. Sometimes it's almost too late when the spotter tells you they're there. I don't know what your experience with that, Hunter.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, tracks like Michigan and, you know, bigger tracks like that, to where you have a wide turn, you got a truck that's on the outside and you commit to the bottom, it's not going to tell you whether you're going to be clear or not until you're starting to exit and you slide up and get a little bit closer to realize that there's a car there. So it could have been something like that. The spotter just said clear, and it could have been netcode as well. With this, you never really know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I know some of the guys run some add-ons, some overlays with different spotters, and you know, maybe they're a little better. Obviously, I've watched Max spot, maybe for you and some of the other guys. It's a lot better if you have a live spotter, you know, telling you, hey, that guy's got a good run on the outside. But you know, if you're running that inside line, and you know, right now we're watching Brandon Hinton, right? As he exit this corner, you know, he kind of wants to come up high here, right? And so if that 35 car was behind him but had a faster run, it's really not going to give you a warning as you're exiting your corner on that inside line coming up high. You know, sometimes you just really, you know, if your mirrors don't pick it up quite right, if you're just, you know, you miss it, the spotter's not always going to catch that for you.
Yeah, for sure. It's really not. And on the Brandon Hinton and Judson Curtis note, it looks like that 5 is really good coming out of 1 and 2, but it just looks like in 3 and 4, Justin Curtis on that high line just has a lot more momentum he's able to carry and be able to just stay in front of him.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I'm new to iRacing, we're going to bring this up real quick because we were talking about this in our DS feed earlier. If you're a family member of someone who does iRacing, jump on their wheel set, jump on their and do a practice on any of our DS races, and just get a feel for what it's like to race one of these cars. Because and try some different cars, because you run the next gen car, and it's like, oh my gosh, I pushed the gas pedal and I just spun around exiting the pits, right? Or maybe the trucks, you're like, wow, I this big fin on the back, this big aero platform, I can run full throttle and not lose control in the corners. But to any family member, that's how I got started. Was watching Max. A couple of races I jumped in for him. I think one season he was given points. I think they figured out let's zero Max out for those points when Dad Dinda's running a race. But again, any family member, you have someone has a setup, jump on it. It's a lot of fun and it's a blast. And hopefully you get hooked like I did, and you want to get your own setup and race, or maybe do some broadcasts. But I don't know, Hunter. What do you think? Should moms and dads and sisters and brothers, if they got a family member doing this, should they jump on and just try a practice couple of laps?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I mean, like if you're in my wife's situation or position, she always watches me race, and she just kind of laughs at me and goes, that's easy, but you really don't get to feel exactly how the car's reacting. The force feedback coming back through the wheel, or the truck getting loose, or whatever you're in. You can't really experience it until you sit down in that seat and you feel everything that whatever you're driving is doing on that track.
Yeah, absolutely. And for anyone who watches these broadcasts or whatnot, and you think this is easy, give it a shot. I can promise you it's harder than you think it is. And, as we're watching the live feed, we have the classic car, Judson Curtis, just in front of Brandon Hinton. And we were talking earlier about the high line, low line. It just seems like he's carrying a little, and you're more technical than I am. Sometimes when you run that high line, running down that straightaway, you're gaining a tenth or two down that straightaway that the inside driver just doesn't have. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can carry the momentum out the corner, you're gonna pull more speed because you can get faster, coming out the corner, can that bottom side, because you got a trail brake or hit the brakes and kind of float it a little bit more and slower, to make it short way around the track. But I mean, also another thing, running that low line, you're saving a little bit more tires compared to running that high line. You're carrying more momentum. You're having to rotate your truck and hit the throttle a little bit more. So you're burning your material up just a little bit more running the high side.
Yeah, absolutely. As we mentioned that, Brandon's getting a little bit closer. I mean, we'll see on the straightaways how he holds that. But I'm a spreadsheet junkie. I'm a kind of figure out little nuances, and that's one of the things I'm loving about iRacing is, the low line may be a little slower on the straightaways, but you're saving your material. The high line could be faster, and just how different drivers play different strategies to me is fascinating.
Yeah, it definitely is for sure. I mean, Judson Curtis, he just ran the legacy trucks with us at Homestead Miami, and a lot of us were running the bottom side and he was running the top side. And after the race, he kind of talked to us and was laughing. And he's like, man, I don't know how y'all can run that bottom lane like that, because I cannot. He tries to commit to the bottom and gets loose. Just like us, we try and commit to the top. Our cars start sliding around. So every driver has a spot to where they can absolutely drive the truck and feel comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the guys who can hold that top line and not bump the wall, my hat's off to them, because I get more nervous on the high side than I do on the low side, because I know on the low side, if I get a little loose, I got some room to maybe save it. You're running that high line. I think it's a lot more demanding.
It really is, because I mean, you gotta pay a lot more attention. You're you're driving the wheels off of it because the amount of momentum that you're coming out with. And if you hit the throttle just wrong or you try and run too fast that topside, you're going to want to slide and potentially hit the wall and tear the back of your truck up, or hit it and give yourself wheel damage. So it's really complicated, and you got to have a lot of skill to be able to run up there like he is.
Yeah, and I know the people watching right now on the live stream are probably wondering why we're focusing on these two. I mean, this is the tightest battle we have on the track right now. John Crosby has a 6.5 second plus lead on P2. Hunter Davis, Judson Curtis is 2 seconds back, and then Brandon's just a couple of tenths off, and then we got a 3 second gap, 2 second gap, 10 second gap. So this is the best battle we have going on the track right now, and it's fun watching these guys as Brandon is making another dive here. Let's see if he's is he content there, or do you think he's really trying to get this spot? What do you think?
I really think that he's just running with Justin Curtis, trying to see what the tires are going to do if he can hold that bottom line and get more speed as he completes the pass. And if I was him, he's going to slide right up in front of him, and knock that run off that he potentially has to make him go to the bottom. But I mean, I have a feeling that he's just sitting there, he's riding, seeing how the truck reacts in the later runs, how hard he can push it. To whereas whenever he comes and gets these tires, maybe he can push it a little bit harder than John Crosby and make that gap up, or see if it falls off and realize he can't drive it as hard as he was.
Yeah, absolutely. And Damon, maybe you can double check. I'm seeing a little different feed on my live iRacing feed as our DS feed, but I think right now. Well, let's see. John Crosby and Thomas Long just. Yeah, and as we had a little pause there, Thomas Long did fall a lap down. John Crosby gave a shout out on the mic. Thank you for letting me by you without a battle. And Thomas Long is a very respectful driver, and I know as the only car one lap down, he's going to gain that lap back if we have a caution or something else happens. But what do you think about pit strategy? 137 and 190. What would you be pitting here, Brandon? Would you pit short or would you stay out long?
I mean, if it was me, I would try and cut it dead in the middle. Try and see if you feel comfortable with how your truck ran for as long as it did. Try and cut it in the middle. Or some of these guys are going to want to try and undercut, maybe pit before the leader and try and be able to catch back up to them and have more momentum. Or if they're going to overcut the leaders and maybe try and have more speed in the long run whenever the tires start wearing off.
Yeah, absolutely. And I turn my track mic down so much. I hear Brandon. I'm gonna turn that back. Yeah, they're pitting. I gotta turn my chat mic back up just a little bit so I can hear that. But it sounds like yep, as you see it live on the screen there, they are coming in for their pits.
Yeah, before they started pitting, it looked like that the 5 had picked up a little bit, and he was reeling in that 88 pretty quick. So I kind of really get why the 88's pitting. I feel like it's a little bit early, because the leader's still out there. No telling how much longer he's going to be out there and how many laps down you're going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it was interesting. We had a brief pause there earlier. I mentioned I'm trusting our broadcaster's feed. Somehow my iRacing feed is delayed. It's a little glitchy here maybe on my end, but I think 30 Someone else just called they're coming into pits. Again, my track mic is so low, but these guys are all coming in for their green flag pits, so this should be really interesting to see how long John Crosby stays out.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, if he stays out too long, these guys with fresh tires, and it looks like he's going to sling it
He's
down
coming
now.
in. Yep.
But for sure, like I was saying, it depending on how long he would have stayed out, them guys with fresh tires, how fast could they have caught back up to him, or pulled away from him, and how much time could they have made back?
Yeah, and yeah, and 69 laps on his tire. Thomas Long looks like he's going to take the lead here, and that's a Dad Dinda strategy, right? If you're in the back of the pack and the leaders are pitting, why not stay out and see if you can catch a caution? Unfortunately, what I've been learning in these playoffs, we've got a smaller field. Cautions tend to come out a lot less. So, and he's got a pit right now. It sounds like on the track mic this time by. So, they're not going to have that strategy. If you get lucky, can really work out for you. But I've been learning. As we see him coming down pit road here, smaller field, less incidents. Good luck if you can play that out, and it hasn't worked for me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like before Max left, we were going to talk about it. Me and him just ran the legacy because me and him both are fighting for the playoffs there, and we just ran at Homestead Miami, and we only had 3 cautions in the entire race, and it was 90 laps. So there's no telling, smaller field, less cautions. There could be more cautions too. People just getting loose, so you never really know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I mentioned earlier, this league is by application only, right? We have some part-time actual. We have one part-time actual NASCAR Xfinity truck ARCA driver who joins our league occasionally in Premier and some of our other divisions. But these guys had to apply for this league and get approval, right? So I'm not going to make this league. There's some other guys who probably should be in this league that maybe aren't. They're really good drivers, but these guys are not going to make many mistakes.
Oh no, for sure. I mean, you got guys like Hunter Davis, who's been around for a long time, and Brandon Hinton. He got his first win, right around the time that I joined, and he put on an absolute show for his first win. So these guys in here, they're really consistent. They're really patient. They try and race everybody the way they want to be raced, but also be as quick as they possibly can as well.
Yeah, and back to my question earlier as to why my iRacing feed was delayed is because I was rewound to find an incident, and it was up to me to catch up, and I did not. So shame on me for that, but I'm caught up with my feed. Didn't really miss anything. I'm just trying to watch for incidents or something else I can call out for our producer, as the 73 car is catching up right now on our P8 car. Sean Dion. Sean's 7 laps down, so I'm sure Sean's going to give him plenty of room.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for him. He qualified P3, pulled down to the bottom for unexpected reasons. Nobody really knows, and went several laps down, and he got 2 of them back, but he's about to lose one of them again to the 73 of John Crosby.
Yeah, and he's gained some points. I'm not sure if Sean is in the playoffs for this or just kind of finishing the race, but heard a shout out from the 73. Thank you for letting me buy clean, and all of us appreciate those clean passes when we can get them.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it looks like Crosby tail tapped the wall. He got a little bit too much, but kind of looking back a little bit too, that gap between Hunter Davis and Brandon Hinton, it closes and then it opens a little bit. So, kind of wondering, is he kind of playing with him to make him drive a little bit harder and catch him later on, or is Brandon Hinton just struggling in one turn and better in the other?
Yeah, and he's about a second back, and I know there's a car right behind him, but that's I believe that's a lap down car. But yeah, you mentioned that gap. I mean, it's 8.5 seconds from first to second back to third position, and we got a nice gap to 4, 5, 6. So really right now, P2, P3 are battling. 4, 5, 6, are going to be battling for position, but let's see how their tires hold up here on these last 38, 37 laps.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, everybody pitted. They came down, they got their tires, pit strategy cycled through, and Crosby took the lead again. But I'm pretty sure everybody's kind of sitting there wondering in the back of their head: is there going to be a caution? Is somebody going to slip up? Am I going to be able to outpit somebody and maybe get a better position than I am? Just kind of makes you wonder what is going through these drivers' minds right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Damon, our producer, I believe we have one drop in this league. This is race 4 of 5. I don't know if we can pull up the point standings, maybe at the beginning of the race, just to see, some of these guys maybe are content with P2, P3, P4 with their points. Is there somebody that needs to be pushing a little harder? It's going to be really interesting to see how we finish this.
Yeah, for sure. And
yeah,
I mean,
again,
that's for sure, Jeff. I mean, and like you were saying with the drops, I'm racing in Legacy for playoffs, and I've already used my drops. So sitting here trying to drive the rest of the way, trying to fight, get as many positions as I can. But at the same time, that drop kind of helped me. A track that I really didn't feel comfortable at, didn't want to wreck a lot of other playoff drivers. It it's good to have that so that way everybody can be competitive and not, slip up because one driver is struggling that night.
Yeah, absolutely. And, still our closest battle right now is Hunter Davis, Brandon Hinton, and P2, P3. Brandon chose not to qualify, started in gridded in 10th. He's currently in 3rd. Hunter started in first, and now he's 2nd. Sorry there, Damon. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, you're sitting there talking about the battle between 1, 2, and 3, but if you go back and look, Chuck Burley and the other truck around him, they're battling pretty rough too. It looks like Burley's trying to get that bottom going, just like Brandon Hinton did, but same situation that Crosby had at the beginning. He's just really loose on exit, just can't get that power down to complete the pass.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are now our most active battle on track, position 4 and 5. Chuck has really tried to make that inside work, and we'll see what Judson has here on the straightaway.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Judson's been running that top lane all night, and I mean, he put up a huge battle with Hinton whenever he was around him. Making Hinton run that bottom, potentially get loose, maybe spin, or just to fall off so he had a little bit more room. But he's committed to that high lane, and at this point, I really don't see any reason why he wants to come off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys are continuing to battle it out. Back to the leader with a very comfortable 10.5 second lead on P2 Hunter Davis.
Yeah, it looks like here shortly he may catch the 32 of Jonathan Geis, who's in 6th place, and put him a lap down. That just shows how much Crosby can drive that truck and be able to save at the same time and just sit there and consistently pull away on this track.
Yeah, we're back to the P4, P5 battle.
Oh, and the 4 got loose off the front of in front of the 35. It looks like he's driving the wheels off that truck, trying to do a slide job, trying to pull in front of him to take that run away from him just to keep it, and maybe force Judson to the bottom as he gives him a bump.
Yeah, he did get pretty good bump there.
For sure. And, maybe Judson Curtis in that 35 doesn't feel comfortable on the bottom. So, and maybe the 4 realizes that with how much the 35's been on that top lane. So, maybe he's trying to pull a strategy and make him hit that bottom where he's not comfortable and pull away from him.
Yeah, and as you were talking there, Judson scraped the wall there just a little bit, which is going to give Chuck a little bit of an advantage there to maybe maybe increase his lead. Man, I love the the battles we have throughout the field. Sorry, there, clear my throat. Watching these guys drive different lines, just to see how much they can push. And we still have what do we have? 25 laps left to go. So these tires are not going to get any better, right? And so as these guys struggle and battle against each other, it's going to be really interesting to see. Someone saved just a little bit more than somebody else, but with John out almost 11.5 seconds, Brandon's not far behind in P3. He's keeping his eyes on Hunter, but just see how these guys finish.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like Kent, he's not very quick, but he's slowly losing that time on Hunter Davis and that connection. So, maybe he drove a little bit too hard trying to keep up with him, or maybe he backed up his corners just a little bit more than what he was to try and have something towards the end.
Yeah, and you wonder, with these guys when they're running, maybe they're using an overlay that gives them different times. Maybe they're just using the iRacing, lap. But you wonder, does Brandon see he has an 8-second lead behind P4 Chuck Burley? Maybe does he try to push a little early? Does he save a little to maybe get Hunter? At the end of the race, it's it's really interesting to see how these guys play it out.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, watching Brandon hit, he's running that middle and he's running that bottom. It looks like that's where he feels comfortable at. Maybe later in the run he comes off that bottom and he tries to find that speed.
And we have a little bit of humor on the track mic. John running on P1 just gave a thank you. I think he passed Jonathan Geist in P6. Again, we can't always. Sorry, I had to pause there to listen. I think some of the guys were joking. Can we get a inspection of the 73 car after the race? Pretty funny, right? Because he's totally dominating these guys, and I appreciate that humor.
Yeah, for sure. That just shows how real, how fun and how competitive these guys are. They know when to be competitive, and then they know when to lighten the mood a little bit in the race, to make it a little bit more fun and not so boring. But, I mean, that just shows we're all here to have fun, to entertain, and just, to express the love of racing that we have to everybody else.
Yeah, and on that note, I'm not a promo type guy, but to anyone who watches this or is watching this who's interested in joining our league, this is a great group of guys. We have a very active Discord channel. I mean, guys are commenting all the time, whether it's about real life situations, setups, racing situations. Obviously, sometimes we complain at each other because you wrecked me and I don't like you, Hunter. Or Hunter says, Jeff, you wrecked me, I don't like you. I get it. But I mean, this is a great group of drivers that we have. And it's a blast. If you want a fun league to race in, most of our races are broadcast. So your family members or friends or family can watch. This is a great league. And like I said, I'm not promoting it. I just, when I see something good, I have to comment on it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like you said, we're all really, close knit, trying to help everybody out. We have teams in this league too, 9 guys per team to try and help each other out. There's times to where a team will reach out to another one and ask for a little bit of help because they don't have as much experience in it, or, they need another team to draft with at a drafting track. We can sit here and we can ask for help, or we can give the help, and, we're all willing to do what needs to be done to help everybody get better and just have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned that, I mean, we're still watching these guys battle it out on our live feed, but I'm just pulling up our team list: TRN Racing, Ratfink Racing, Beer Run Racing. These are legacy teams that have been around for a while. We have a brand new team, which Hunter, you're a part of. Max, who was in our broadcast and left. We also have some existing legacy drivers joining that team with some new drivers joining that team. So that's pretty exciting for you and Max. We also have a couple of new teams that have joined in the past couple of weeks who we really won't get a feel for what they're capable of, but I'm pretty confident these guys will be pretty competitive. We have Fearless Motorsports just joined, 6 of 9 drivers, and pretty good lineup. And CCR is also brand new. And I think both of those new teams are going to be pretty competitive. So it's going to be really exciting to see how next season plays out. If you're new to the league and you can't race in the playoffs, you know, there's some teams you can join. There's some exciting racing coming up. There's some off season. We're going to have some races as well. Maybe some full length courses, full length races. But please join our league, and this is getting way more exciting, I think, next season.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you talk about the rookies. You know, we have one team that is built of nothing but rookies. Like, these guys are fresh into the league. They just joined, and they're coming out to just want to show dominance. But you also have other veteran teams. You know, like you said, TRM, Beer Run, Ratfink. You know, and on those teams, you got really good drivers. You got Hunter Davis. You got John. You know, Crosby. You got Hinton. You got a lot of drivers that have been in this league for a while and have championships underneath their belt and have the skill to recruit drivers. And then you know, like me, I'm a mixture of both. You know, right now, I'm still running my own team, but we're going to dissolve it and we're going to merge with Max. But if you look at the roster for Mon and Max's team coming up, you got 6 veterans and 3 rookies. So there's that. So you never know what to expect.
Yeah, and I'll just throw this down. I'm a rookie to iRacing, but there are rookies on your team. The 2 new teams that are joining, they're not rookie iRacing drivers. These guys have some experience, and like I said, this could be. I'm not going to over promote, but this could be our most exciting season yet coming up.
Oh yeah, I really believe so. Because I mean, like you said, you got a lot of rookies that want to come in. They want to show dominance. They want to try and prove that they can come in here and they're meant to be here. But you also have a lot of veterans who know how to drive this track. They know how to save, you know, and they can run the long race and not push their truck as much as the rookies want to push their trucks. So it's going to be a really fun season to see exactly what's going to happen and see where it goes with everybody coming in.
Yeah, no, as we're talking, I shifted my screens on our broadcast. TR Racing just came in. I think Hendon's going to catch him. Bring back up the ticker. Yeah, we got it. You know, we're watching it live, and he said there's 3 full rookie teams, and I agree with him. There are 3 full rookie teams, but they're not. Like I said, they're not me rookies. They're not rookie to iRacing. These are competitive teams, and the reason, as you mentioned, we have some really good racers, some really good teams in this league, and these rookie teams are coming in here to prove their worth against some of their teams. And like I said, I'm really excited to see what we happen. And boy, that battle, P2, P3, I think this is our battle to watch for the last 5 laps.
Oh yeah, for sure. It looks like Hinton has put on the afterburners, and he is starting to sit there and gradually reel that 88 in. You know, did the 88 burn up his tires, or, you know, was he fading a little bit back till the 5 catches him, let the 5 burn his tires up, and then just take right back off again?
Yeah, it's hard to say with both of these drivers. They're top notch. I'd never discount Brandon's ability to close in the final couple of laps, and you know, these guys are giving us exciting finish here for sure. With our leader comfortably out at 3.7-ish, or maybe 12 and a half seconds, you know, lead here.
Yeah, and it looks like he's lapped all the way up to 5th place, so this is crazy. You know, it just shows how good of a driver he is and how consistent he wants to be and just dominate, you know, being here racing for the playoffs.
Absolutely. I'm kind of listening to the track mic at the same time we're talking, and you know, I think at this point John could almost coast. He could go half throttle and probably still win, but you know. These
yeah, for
guys in
sure. I mean, he can just basically let off the throttle and just, if he wanted to, he could just hit the clutch going in and just coast all the way through the corners, and he can make it. Now, I don't. There's no way that Hunter Davis or Brandon Hinton's going to catch him, but these two are sitting here battling, and it looks like Hinton's pushing that truck as much as he possibly can to get that run. He's bounced the wall a few times trying to get him, and he just can't seem to pull it in.
Yeah, as we mentioned, he kind of pulls up on a corner, but like you said, it's gonna be a tough battle for Brandon to pass him here on this final lap.
Yeah, and as they just cross the line for the final lap, this is the last lap that Hinton's got to do something. I have a feeling he's going to try and send it a little bit harder than he normally has to try and make that gap, but he may be content with that third place too. You never know.
Yeah, for sure. And as we're watching these guys finish, John has already crossed the line, and everyone's congratulating him on the radio, and that was a win well deserved.
Oh yeah, for sure. He came in here 171 laps led, and he just put on an absolute show for y'all. When everybody else around, driving how they are. This just shows you we're here to entertain and we're here to have fun and just do the sport that we absolutely love doing.
Absolutely, and these guys are giving congrats and some little funny jabs at each other about post-race inspections, but that's what happens when you dominate a race like 73 did. We're going to joke about it, but there's nothing wrong with being dominant in a race.
Oh no, for sure. This is a track he felt comfortable at. He just came in here and absolutely showed you how comfortable he is and how much he wanted to win and how dominant he could be. So, just an absolute class.
Hey guys.
Hey Brandon, how you feeling after that finish? I mean, we were watching you guys for the last 10 or 15 laps there, battling it out for P2, P3. How do you feel about that race? Kind of starting into the back of the pack without qualifying.
Yeah, I was taking my time, kind of figuring it out. The bottom wasn't working early on. Then we got it rolling. But it's fun. It's a multi-groove track, so you can go anywhere and be fast. But it's a workout, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, me and you have battled quite a few times, in the legacies and in the next gen and Xfinity. There's been some battles and there's been times where you can absolutely just drive, and you showed tonight starting all the way in the back and driving to the front, just being consistent like you always are. Do you feel like you could have done better, or were you content with where you were at?
No, I got the most out of it. John was the class of the field, obviously. Congrats to him and Hunter for P2, and Jetson was up there. He was battling. I don't know if he got loose or lost it or whatever, but he was up there too. No, that's about where I probably should have ended up, was P3, and I'll take it. So that's a good points day, and see where that plays out at going into the next race.
Absolutely, great finish there, and we appreciate you remembering to jump in the feed tonight.
If you weren't gonna say it, I was going to. Yeah, I'm so bad at that. I was like, oh no, I forgot. So I was. Hunter even said something over the radio and saying, make sure you're there. But
I heard him.
remember. Yeah, I remembered this time.
If we threaten 10-point penalties, everyone will be lining up, even if they finish P10.
I would be the first one in.
Yep. So again, congratulations, not qualifying, starting in the back of the pack and finishing in position 3.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Hunter, congratulations on finishing in P2. How'd you feel about your race overall, and what do you think about that finish?
I mean, overall, it was kind of just ticking off laps kind of race. Man, congrats to John. I don't know, how he pulled that out. Qualifying practice, we were dead even, and then it comes into the race, and he's just putting on a clinic. So congratulations to John and Brandon on that win, and then Brandon on that P3. But overall, man, I thought that race was fun. It was a good testament to dudes being able to keep their car under their own control and managing tires. So I thought it was a good race.
Yeah, I'm going to give a quick comment. I listened to Track Mike. Heard you guys joking with each other there about, technical issues, maybe checking at the end of the race. That was pretty funny, but I'll let the other Hunter 2, jump in with the technical questions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Hunter, you came in. It looked like in the beginning laps you were able to sit there, and your truck was able to withstand holding with Crosby. And then it looked like later in the run you started falling off. Was that because you were struggling with the truck, or you were just trying to see if you could save it a little bit better than he had, or do you feel like you could have pushed it a little bit harder?
I mean, I could always push harder, but at what risk? So the first stage, I was pushing pretty hard. I was racing John pretty hard. The second stage, he had the track position, so I knew he'd get the jump. And I kind of let him walk away with it because I just wanted to see, if I let him walk away to a 4-second gap, if I'm saving my tires, am I going to be able to run him back down? And then that final run, it was just a combination of green flag stops and not pushing at the right times. But
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it looked like you were, like I said, beginning of the runs you were really good, and then towards the end it just kind of backed off. And the battle that you and Hint had, that shows how good of a driver all of y'all are. Wanting to battle each other clean and try and get as many positions as y'all possibly can.
yeah, absolutely. I appreciate y'all broadcasting this race and Damon for putting this on. Once again, congrats to John and Brandon on those podium finishes. And I look forward to duking it out next weekend at Kansas in the season finale.
John, so we heard some humorous chat, joking. We did a post race inspection. You're clear. Congratulations. I know that was pretty funny to me. Congratulations on that dominating win. Right, the last 20 laps we were focusing on P2, P3 because you were so far out in front. But congratulations on the win. Talk to us about it. If you got any shout outs to give to anybody who may be watching, let's hear it all in one swoop, and then we'll let Hunter jump in with the technical questions.
Well, so I will start out with 3 words. I love Iowa. I don't know what it is. Me and this track just click. I have no idea. It's kind of like Brandon. Me and Brandon was talking about, next gen. And he had a pretty dominant race too. And it's just some clicks. And it's finding that rhythm. And I just kind of on that. I think the second stage break, I had to turn my music up, and I was just like, "Yep, I'm just gonna kind of zone out here and just do my thing." So I think that kind of helped a little bit, but I definitely like Iowa.
I love having a favorite track. I have some unfavorite tracks, and we'll give Hunter a chance to jump in and ask you some technical race questions.
Yeah, for sure. Learning and knowing the tracks and picking your best ones. Just like you have Iowa, I'm decent at road courses, and I feel like I like Watkins Glen in the trucks. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Jeff and Damon have their tracks that they like. It looked like you just know how to save at this track. Last week in the Legacy you ran with us, and you just absolutely put on a clinic. Then, me and Max were trying to catch up with you, and we just absolutely had nothing for you. Just like tonight, Hunter Davis was able to keep up with you at the beginning, and towards the end, it's just almost like you put rocket boosters on and just said, "I'm out." So, I mean, absolute class show tonight, and congratulations on the win. You have come in this league and you have actually absolutely shown how much of a dominant driver you want to be, and you are, compared to all these veterans that are in here with championships. Throughout the night, how did your truck feel? I noticed you got in the wall a couple of times. Did you try and push it a little bit more than you thought that you could, or were you just sliding a little bit?
So, at the beginning of probably every stage, the first 20 laps where I was struggling, it felt extremely tight. And then in the middle there, once I got 30, 40 laps on the tires, it felt great. It was a little loose, and I think a lot of people like a little bit of a loose truck. I personally do, and it just got looser and looser and looser, and I absolutely love that. So the truck was doing what I wanted it to do.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you could absolutely see it, and that battle that you were having with Davis at the beginning, that kind of explains. Davis had a little bit better run than you did, and you were trying to get underneath him, and you were just slightly bobbling, and you could see you were fighting the truck, and then you were able to just get around him, and he couldn't. There was no catching you after that.
And track position means a lot too. So once he took off, I really had all I could do to get around him. And then after that, once you're in the lead, it's hard to pass, especially on the repave. But here it's a little bit easier, but it's still pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, it may all these guys that are watching, they watched you and they think, oh, well, I can do it. I can come in here and I can dominate. Is there any advice that you can give these guys that are maybe watching the broadcast and being like, okay, I want to join iRacing, I want to do this. Any advice to come in and just absolutely drive like you did tonight?
So I've been doing this for less than a year. And I absolutely love it. But the biggest thing that I had to learn is patience. Patience is definitely key, and just learn from others. Don't be hard-headed, and be like, "Oh, I can do this," blah 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 blah. Just learn from others. I mean, there is a lot of faster people than me, and I just try and learn so much. Like Hunter Davis, Brandon Hinton, Judson Curtis, and a whole bunch more. Um, but just be patient, learn as much as you can. But yeah, definitely a lot of fun though.
Well, again, congratulations on. I'm going to call it a dominating win. I hope I can learn from you. And again, we'll give you one more chance for a shout out. Your Beer Run Racing teammates or somebody else you got a shout out to? Let's hear it.
Yeah, the whole team, honestly. Beer Run has been fantastic. We're trying to get better. I want us to be the best team out here, and we're definitely working towards that. I just also want to thank my girlfriend. She's actually in the other room right now sleeping, and I feel bad because I might be a little loud, but she'll be all right. So, and thank you guys very much for everything and putting these on. So.
Well, awesome. Very, very much appreciated and congratulations. And I hope your girlfriend is sleeping in peace.
Oh, yeah, she'll be fine.
Hunter, thanks for joining our broadcast. As always, our producer, Damon, did a fabulous job. We had no technical difficulties tonight with other broadcasters, and Damon could concentrate on the broadcast. For those of you watching, like, subscribe. Join our channel, join our league. This is an awesome league. Hunter, any last things before we clear out?
I just want to appreciate, everybody that comes out here and, watches and supports us. I'm a driver. I drive pretty much everything that I can possibly get behind the wheel of and just have fun with all these guys. And to come up here and broadcast, and to kind of have a driver's point of view for y'all so that way y'all can enjoy, not only watching it, but understand what the drivers are doing, what they're going through, how the trucks feel, and how the tracks are. But, just want to appreciate everybody that sponsors us and does everything to make this league grow and become what it is.
Damon,